morning to all of you. The past 18 months have been the most difficult for us in India and indeed the world over because of the prevalence of the COVID-19 pandemic. This pandemic has affected our lives in many ways. Numerous citizens of our country have lost their jobs. Many families have been disrupted. Many of our working class have had to go back to their native villages because of a steady source of income. And all this has brought a great deal of difficulties and problems in our day-to-day lives. To many of the fitness enthusiasts of the country, this pandemic has meant that they've lost the opportunity of going to their gyms, going and visiting parks, going and visiting their laughing clubs, their Pilates classes, amongst others. To commemorate 75 years of independence, this year it has been suggested that the Fit India mission conceptualized what they call as the Fit India Run 2.0, whereby citizens are given a call to include at least 30 minutes of physical activity in their lives, that is, fitness ka dose आधा घंटा रोज. Fitness not only of the body but fitness of the mind that would enable us to be strong individuals, fitness of our souls, so that we can take up whatever challenges our life throws at us and develop a never say die attitude, however insurmountable or difficult the problems might seem. To illustrate this very attitude of never say die, I thought I'd share with you a story that I have in the past many years ago that I thought I would repeat to you this morning to prove this very point. It's a story of the 1992 Olympics that was held in Barcelona. It's a story that involves a British sprinter by the name of Derek Redmond. You see, Derek Redmond was fancied to win the 400 meters gold. And to cut a long story short, in the finals of the 400 meters in the Barcelona Games in 1992, when the starter's gun went off, the sprint started in all seriousness, and about 150 meters into the race, which Derek Redmond was leading, he collapsed, much to the stunned silence of the over 100,000 spectators that were cheering on the runners in this great race. He collapsed because of a hamstring injury. He had pulled his hamstring and he just looked up and saw the other runners sweeping past him through the finish line. He did not lie down there and worry about what happened to him or cry about his fate, but instead he tried his best to struggle up and stand, which was very difficult for him, but somehow or the other he stood up. And when the cameras were panning through the stunned audience, one person suddenly made an appearance, pushing through the security cordon, and that person happened to be the father of Derek Redmond. He broke his way through the security cordon and rushed up to his son and hugged him and said, "Son, you don't have to do this, you lie down. There will be a stretcher that will come and take you to the hospital." But he says, "No, I want to finish the race." So he said, "If you want to finish the race, let us finish the race together." And what he did, much to the surprise of all the spectators gathered in the audience, was that he put his son's arm around his shoulder and helped him complete the 400 meters race, and just before the finish line, let him complete the race together. The reason why I'm telling you this story, friends, is that we should never give up in life, however difficult a situation we might be faced with. We must keep the faith that whatever challenges that life has in store for us, we be fit in our mind and bodies and have the will to overcome such situations, because there has to be light at the end of the tunnel. Another incident that I thought I'd share with you, which I think is equally appropriate, which will help me get my point across, involves another Olympics. An Olympics with a difference, that is called as a Special Olympics or the Para-Olympics. An Olympics which is held for the differently abled. This was the Olympics that was held in 1976 in a place called Seattle in USA, wherein a race of 100 meters was about to start. A 100 meters race for those who were affected with a disorder or an inborn error of metabolism called as Down syndrome. 10 Down syndrome athletes were taking part of a particular age group. To cut a long story short, when the starter's gun went off, all but one of the 10 athletes took off in their 100 meters race. That one athlete was a young boy who was seriously affected with Down syndrome, who just could not move or respond to the starter's gun. And much as he tried, he eventually was able to move and he fell down and started crying. As the race progressed at its own pace, at some point in time, the 9 friends or the 9 co-athletes with Down syndrome realized that one of their friends was left behind. And instinctively, each one of them stopped, turned back, and for some reason decided that they all should go back irrespective of completing the race or winning. So they literally, to the stunned silence of the over 65,000 spectators in that stadium in Seattle, USA that evening, all walked back towards their fellow competitor who was crying and sobbing at the start line. One of the girls with Down syndrome went up to the little boy, hugged him, put his head on her shoulder, comforted him, and said that all will be okay. And to the silence and to the absolute surprise of all the spectators who were now standing up and peering and looking down at what was happening on the ground, they all linked their arms and started walking so that the boy could complete the race. And they, all 10 of them, with their arms linked, completed the 100 meters race. The reason why I am telling you the story, friends, is that life is not always about winning for ourselves. Many a times we need to pause, to slow down, look over our shoulders and see if there is something in need, if there is someone who needs our help. Slow down and maybe even change the course of our lives to help others win their race. I think this is something that we all need to look deep into our hearts, something that we can do. This would only help our neighborhood, our city, our state, and our country to go forward to deservedly where it belongs. Therefore, to commemorate the 75 years of independence of our country, let us all pledge to be a part of this Fit India Freedom Run 2.0. And let me reiterate mainly the buzz line here, which is Fitness ka dose, Adha Ghanta Roz. And be sure to share your pictures of your run, of your walk that you have done, and also approximately tell us about the distance that you have run or walked. I assure you that your pictures will be shared with the Government of India via the portal fitindia.government.in. And in doing so, let us all contribute in our own way, in whatever way possible, to take this greater country to even bigger heights and become an economic superpower in the days to come. God bless you all and all the best for your Fitness 2.0 run.